All right, welcome everyone. This is part two, day two of learning Python basics from 7 to 7:30 right here on Aim in the Mass Media Group. So let's begin. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so yesterday we started learning how to install pycharm and also Python yesterday. So if you have a chance, go take a look at the video from yesterday. And if you haven't already installed it, please go ahead and install and then come back to this video. So let's actually go ahead and get started. And I'll start a little bit before how to actually get into the program and coding. And we're going to start a few seconds before that, just in case anybody missed it yesterday.
Installation wizard, simply click next, next, next until you install pycharm. If you're on Mac, you need to drag and drop this icon onto the applications folder. So drag and drop. All right, now let's double click this to run it. The first time you run pycharm, you're going to get this warning because this is an application that you download from the internet. So let's go ahead and open it. Next, you're going to see this dialog box for importing some settings. Leave this to do not import settings. It doesn't really matter. Okay. On this page, select I've never used pycharm. You can see some keyword shortcuts that might be useful in the future. Just accept this. And down the bottom, click the next button. And then next again. And one more time. And finally start using pycharm. So here's the main page of pycharm that you're going to see every time you open it. Click on Create New Project. This is the location for our project. Let's call this project Hello World. Now, before clicking Create, expand this item here. Make sure that base interpreter is set to Python 3. Python interpreter is basically a program that knows how to execute Python code. It will interpret or translate Python instructions into instructions that a computer can understand. Now, Mac computers by default come with an older installation of Python, that is Python 2. It's considered legacy, which means it's no longer maintained or supported. So earlier we downloaded Python 3. Make sure that this is set to Python 3. If not, from this list, select Python 3.7.
Okay, we're going to just go ahead and pause it there for a second. So go ahead and change in your Python project and name it Hello World. I'm going to go ahead and do that on my end. And then if you notice that it's going to have, he has a /, I have a \. I really don't think it makes a big difference. So just put Hello World at the top where it says location, and then at the top location line, you'll see it says Hello World, and then you'll see another location where it says users/venv from there. So let's go ahead and continue.
All right, now let's go ahead and create this project. Forward.
Be a digital detective. Enroll in the new Google Cybersecurity Certificate to jumpstart.
In this Python tutorial, we're going to take this program to the next level. We're going to make.
All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to create that project. Let's take our time real quick. Just give everybody some time to do this. I know this is real time here that we're doing it. So basically the project is going to go ahead and create itself. It's creating, it's updating. All right, on my end. All right. Okay, so let's continue here.
Make it more interesting. So I'm going to show you how to draw a dog here. Now, as part of this tutorial, you will learn how Python code gets executed, and you will also learn about a few programming terms. So press enter, and on line 2, write another print statement. So print, open and close parentheses, add a quotation. Now here we want to draw a dot.
Let's go back. I think we skipped something. 1 second. Let's go back just a little bit. All right, here we go.
There to write our code.
Let's see, I think it's a little bit. Okay, here we go.
Now here, right-click on Hello World folder and go to New Python file.
Okay, so once you create that folder, then you're gonna go to File and then New, and then create the file. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just gonna repeat that one more time. So make sure we have it all good and set to go.
Now here, right-click on Hello World folder.
Okay, so you're gonna right-click on that Hello World folder. All right.
And go to New Python file.
Okay, so you got it. So you're gonna go to New and then Python file.
Call this file app.py.
All right, and then when you click on the name, you're gonna all right. Now, if you don't, for some reason, see this particular screen on Python name or enter, depending if you're on a PC or Mac, then it should take you to a field where you're going to be able to write the code in.
So by convention, all Python files should have this py extension. All right, let's go ahead.
Okay, so once again, every Python file should have or should be named .py.
Now let's collapse this project panel by clicking here.
All right. So if you don't, on the side, there might be something to collapse it, or you can actually drag your window as well if you can't find the collapse tool.
Here, and write our first Python program. Simply type print, print, all in lowercase, open and close parentheses.
Okay, so we're going to start there. So our first line of code is print, and 2 close parentheses. All right, so that's print, 2 close parentheses.
And inside this parentheses, add quotations. You can either use single quotes or double quotes. Now, in between the quotes, write your name. I am Mosh Hamadani, so let's write that here.
Okay, so go ahead. Okay, so you can either use single quotes or double quotes, and then write your name.
So this is your first Python program. With this piece of code, you can print your name on the screen. Now to...
Okay, so I don't know if he's going to explain this. I hope he doesn't, but we're going to go back a little bit. So from my understanding, and I could be wrong, but so for those who, do know about computer stuff, usually printing has to do with you can either, physically print something or like print something like on the computer, meaning like it shows up basically on the screen. So that's pretty much in simple terms what it is. So this is basically what he's doing right now. If I'm wrong, please leave it in the comments. But for now, we're going to continue.
To run this, go on the top, under the Run menu, click Run. Also note that there is a shortcut associated with this command. When I program, I always use shortcuts because that increases my productivity. So here on a Mac computer, the shortcut is Control, Option, and R. On Windows, it's different. So let's go ahead with that. Now,
okay, so go ahead. All right.
now it's asking where you want to run this. Click on App. Now down below, you should see this little terminal window. This is like a little window into our program. So here we can see the results or output of our program. In the future, as you learn more Python, you'll be able to build applications that have a graphical user interface or GUI. That is a little bit complicated. So for now, we're going to use this little terminal window to see the results of our program. So as you can see, my name is printed here. Now, as you write code, this window might get in the way, so you can always resize it or minimize it by clicking this icon here. So this was our first Python program. Now, if you didn't see the result I showed you in this video, use the comment box below and tell me what error you encountered. I'll do my best to help you move forward. In this Python tutorial, we're going to take this program to the next level. We're going to make it more interesting. So I'm going to show you how to draw a dog here. Now, as part of this tutorial, you will learn how Python code gets executed, and you will also learn about a few programming terms. So press enter, and on line 2, write another print statement. So print, open and close parentheses, add a quotation. Now here we want to draw a dog. So
we're going
forward. In this Python tutorial, we're going to take this program to the next level. We're going to make it more interesting. So I'm going to show you how to draw a dog here. Now, as part of this tutorial, you will learn how Python code gets executed, and you will also learn about a few programming terms. So press enter, and on line 2, write another print statement. So print, open and close parentheses, add a quotation. Now here we want to draw a dog. So add a...
Okay, we're going to go ahead, do that, print. All right, in quotation. Now, once again, you can either do it in double quotes or single quotes.
I don't know, that is the head of our dog, followed by 4 hyphens. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the body, all right? Now, one more time, another print statement with quotations. Now we need to draw the legs. So add a space.
Okay, so go ahead. O dash 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 dash. Okay, return. And then do another print. We're going to just take our time with it, no rush. Okay, dash, dash. All right.
Followed by 4 vertical bars. So like this. So here's a...
Okay, so remember on the left, it's going to be a space and 4 vertical bars. All right, so depending on, see where you're at, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
a little imaginary dog. Now let's run this program and see what we get. So on the top right corner, you should see this play button. Click that. There you go. So
okay, so let's see if we can run this. So now on actually mine play button is like way on the top. So your play button might be somewhere else, but make sure that you'll see definitely a play button. So go ahead and hit that play button. Okay.
we have our name, and right below that, we have our imaginary dog. Now, what you need to understand here is that our Python code gets executed line by line from the top. So earlier I told you about Python interpreter. That is the program that knows how to translate or interpret our Python code into instructions that a computer can understand. So when we run this program by clicking this icon here, Python interpreter starts executing or running our program line by line from the top. So first, it executes line 1, then moves on to line 2, and so on. So this is how Python programs get executed. Now let me show you something cool. Let's add another print statement with quotations. Now in between the quotations, add a star or an asterisk, like this. Now after the quotation and before the parenthesis, add a space. Once again, add an asterisk, space, 10.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So on line 4, we go print. Okay. And he's using single quotes, asterisk, space, asterisk, and the number 10. All right, let's continue.
What's going on here? Well, anywhere we have quotations, like here or here, we're defining a string. A string is a programming term, which means a series of characters. So here we have a string. We also have a string on line 3, as well as line 2 and line 1. Now here, we are multiplying the string by number 10. So this is the multiplication operator, just like the multiplication operator we have in math. So with this piece of code, we can draw 10 asterisks on the terminal. Let me show you. So let's run this program one more time. There you go.
All right, so go ahead and run the program. All right.
So we have 10 asterisks. Now what we have here, this piece of code here, is called an expression. An expression is a piece of code that produces a value. So when Python interpreter tries to execute line 4, first it will evaluate the code that we put in between parentheses. So it will evaluate our expression. Our expression will produce 10 asterisks, and then those asterisks will be printed on the terminal. Now, as an exercise, you can use these print statements to draw another shape. You can draw a heart, a ball, whatever you like. I will see you in the next tutorial. One of the questions I get a lot on my channel is, how long does it take to learn Python and become job ready? Well, there is no single answer. It really depends on you and how much effort and commitment you want to put into this. But I would say if you spend 2 hours every day consistently, after about 3 months, you should be able to write basic Python programs. But quite honestly, that doesn't get you a job. In order to get a job, you need to specialize in one area. What do you want to use Python for? Do you want to use it to build web applications or desktop applications? Or do you want to use it in machine learning and artificial intelligence? So whatever you want to do, you need to take additional courses. For example, if you want to become a web developer, in addition to learning Python, you should also learn about HTML, CSS, some JavaScript, and Django, which is a popular Python framework for building web applications. Learning all these things would take you another 6 months. So in total, you need 9 to 12 months to become job ready. At that point, you can get a junior developer job with a salary of about $50,000 to $60,000 a year. Now, as you work more, as you do more Python projects, your resume starts to build, and you can ask for $100,000 a year or $120,000 a year, depending on where you are, what company, what geographical area. It really depends. So there is no single answer. So are you excited to learn Python and get started on this career path? If you are, I would encourage you to make a commitment and spend 2 hours every day practicing Python. And use the comment box below and let me know why you're learning Python. What do you want to do with it? What's your dream job? I would love to hear your story.
What are you working on?
Oh, I'm using Vidyard to move my deals.
In this Python tutorial, you're going to learn about variables, which are one of the most fundamental concepts in programming. They're not specific to Python. They exist in pretty much every programming language out there. We use variables to temporarily store data in a computer's memory. Here's an example. Let's type price equals 10.
Okay, so go ahead and erase in your box previously. So go ahead and erase all that data in there. All right. I'm going to type price equals 10.
When Python interpreter executes this code, it will allocate some memory, then it will store the number 10 in that memory, and finally it will attach this price label to that memory location. As a metaphor, imagine we have a box. In that box, we have number 10, and price is the label that we put on the box. Now we can use this label anywhere in our program to access the value that we have in that box. This is a very simplified explanation. So now let's print price on the terminal. Print. Now this time we're not going to add quotations, because if we put quotations here, we will see the text price on the terminal, not the value of the price variable. So delete quotations and type price. Now let's run this program one more time. There you go. So we see 10 on the terminal.
All right. Let's go ahead. We don't want, in this particular case, the word price to be printed. We just want the value in itself. We're going to type print. And we're going to put in price. All right. And then you're going to run it. The little play button on the top. All right. Let's go.
So this is how we define variables. We start with an identifier, which is the name of our variable, then an equal sign, and finally a value. Now, more accurately, when this number 10 is about to be stored in the memory, first it will get converted to its binary representation. So this number 10 that we have is in the decimal system, which has all the digits from 0 to 9. Computers don't understand all these digits. They only understand zeros and ones. So when we store the number 10 in the computer's memory, first it will get converted to its binary representation, which will be a bunch of zeros and ones, like 001, 001, whatever, I don't know. Then it will get stored in the computer's memory. So let's take this program to the next level. On the second line, we can update the value of this price variable. So we can reset it to a new value like 20. Now, when we run our program, we should see 20, because as I told you before, Python interpreter executes our code line by line from the top. So first we set price to 10, then we reset it to 20, and finally we print it on the terminal. Let's run the program. There you go. So we see 20 here.
All right. So go ahead. Print equals 20. All right.
Okay. Now, these numbers that we have here are whole numbers without a decimal point. In programming, we refer to these numbers as integers. So an integer is a number without a decimal point. We can also use numbers with a decimal point. For example, here on line 2, we can define another variable called rating, and we set it to 4.9. Now, in programming, we refer to this kind of number as a floating point number, or float for short. So,
All right, so go ahead. Rating equals 4.9. All right.
we have integers and floats. We can also define a variable and set it to a string. For example, name equals Mosh. We also have another kind of value, which is called Boolean, which can be true or false. They are like yes and no in English. Here's an example. I'm going to define a variable is underline published. So we use an underscore to separate multiple words in our variable's name. We set this.
Okay, so go ahead. Under rating, type your name equals your name. For an example. Is
to true or false. These are the Boolean values. Now, note that Python is a case-sensitive language, which means it's sensitive to lowercase and uppercase characters. So when defining variables, we should always use lowercase letters. But here, false and true are special keywords in the language. So if we spell it with a lowercase f, Python doesn't understand it. You can see we have a red underline here, which indicates an error. So make sure to spell this with a capital F, or if you want to set this to true, make sure T is capital. So in this program, we are storing simple values in our computer's memory. Simple values can be numbers, which can be integers or floats, or they can be strings or booleans. But in Python, we can also store complex values like lists and objects, and that's what I'm going to show you in the future. So before going any further, I want you to do a little exercise. Imagine we're going to write a program for a hospital. So we check in a patient named John Smith. He's 20 years old and is a new patient. I want you to define 3 variables here for his name, his age, and another variable to tell if this is a new or an existing patient. So pause the video and spend 1 minute on this exercise. When you're done, come back, continue, see my solution.
all right. So I'm going to go back again. And for time's sake, we're just going to go see his solution. Because it's about 7:30. And let's go see what he has to say.
You can learn to code with codefinity.com, and I'm going to show you how in 30 seconds.
All right, so here we need 3 variables. The first one is the patient's name.
Okay, so let's see here. So remember how to do your name. So let's go with the name. I believe it's name should be equals quotes, and then I guess name whatever. Let's name Fred Hamilton or whatever you want to name your patient. Let's see if that's right.
We set that to John Smith.
Okay, so that's name. Name equals, and then in quotes, single quotes or double quotes. All right.
We can also call this full name. These are both valid names for our variables. The second variable is for the age of our patient. So age is 20.
Okay. In this case, age equal 20.
And finally, we need a variable to tell if this is a new or an existing patient. That's where we can use a Boolean value. So we define a variable is new and we set it to true.
All right. Only wouldn't have got that right, but baby steps. There you go.
So you have learned how to print messages on the terminal window. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to receive input from the user.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stop it there. All right, so basically we learned about how to basically set up, print what hopefully we'll end up seeing on the computer itself. So we're going to stop there. Where are we at? We're at 18 minutes. Okay, so we'll continue on 18, and then I think next time I might actually show my screen, but this time I'm just trying to get us through the program as fast as we can. But once again, you can go back and check your work if you're having issues with any print, and you can send an email to etmmediagroup@gmail.com, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. At least I like the salaries. All right, family, have a good one.
The way it currently stands, forced labor, slavery takes precedence over rehabilitation and public safety.
Oh, by the way, while the Biden administration gives reparations to everyone but free people, look at the billions he has run over to Ukraine.
We don't have black grocery stores because if you think about it now, just to get in that supply chain, it's almost unheard of.
They don't want the truth to get out. Okay? I don't want to know what my family did or what all these people did and all this stuff like that. Okay? You read that 500-page report.
There's this thing called white superiority and black inferiority. That mindset allows all of the behaviors that we've seen across generations.
They had no idea that that church I was running by every day was something my grandfather established.
This is not a handout. This is a debt that is owed.
You know, Allensworth was like the internet of his time in 1904, 1905.
The total black population in California is about 2.6 million, and then of that, the descendants compose about 2.2 million of that. So California, with a multi-billion-dollar surplus, can absolutely afford to satisfy the international terms for reparations, beginning with compensation.
Any financial obstacle that exists that impedes the success of increasing financial prosperity needs to be dealt with and eliminated.
No matter where we've been, no matter what part of this fight we've been in, we've been harmed, and we've had harm done to us specifically.
When I got to Los Angeles, this was some of the worst segregation I'd ever seen. And remember, I'm telling you, I'm from Mississippi.
Because as you can see, I'm giving you broken history right now, you know? But I had to give it to you guys today. I said, no, I got to show them this because it's so precious and nobody really knows about it.
Overnight, it's like, oh, it's no longer the quarters, now it's Lincoln Heights. Oh, so now we get to use Abraham Lincoln for our name. And you think about all the other people that they could have used, but they picked Lincoln. And I think that's sort of a stereotypical of what they do.
There wasn't any black restaurants. As far as black business and weed, it wasn't none.
Black people don't have that kind of luxury. Our historically black communities have been redistricted multiple times.
Why has it been easier for other groups than us?
Because of anti-black hatred.
Now listen, if you can't handle the TR room, don't tune in.